It came from outer space to fill the world with terror.
What earthly power can stop this terror?
That's the signpost up ahead. Your next stop.
The broadcasting from outer space.
So this is going to be a added bonus for you guys. If you don't already know, this is the podcast from outer space. I am Ryan Scott. We got Rob Scott over there.
What up?
And we got Adam Narlock.
Hey guys, thanks for listening.
And we figure, hell, we'll just throw this out here. We'll just rap about, there's been a lot of UFO talk in the news lately. And Unidentified, the investigation into America's UFOs, however you want to call it, produced by Tom DeLonge and his company To the Stars, premiered on Friday. We all watched it and we figure, hell, we'll just fucking sit around and talk about it. First thoughts, initial thoughts. I know it's a series run, so we just wanted to give you guys some thoughts on that and just kind of release this as some bonus content for you guys. And you know, I mean, what do we think? I mean, we all watched the documentary. Now, have we seen all the stuff in the news and shit like that?
What stuff in the news?
Like the New York Times articles and all this shit that went fucking super viral. You're on Instagram all the time. You never saw one person post?
I did see the Times article, yes.
Okay. That's what I'm talking about.
I didn't see the stuff that they documented on the first episode, though.
What do you mean?
Well, like all the... Fuck, what was the guy's name that got caught up in the scandal with Hillary Clinton, and they started...
Oh,
the
Podesta?
Russians hacked his shit.
Oh, the WikiLeaks.
Yeah, they released all his correspondence with Tom.
Yeah, now, I mean, let's just... First thoughts on seeing the documentary, like the first episode. What do we think?
I mean, I want to see how the rest of it plays out, because I feel like the first episode didn't really live up to the hype.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I see... This is like...
Ghost Hunters?
Yeah, like any one of those ghost shows. Have you guys ever seen a ghost on them?
No.
And there's like 20 seasons, right?
That's the whole point.
Yeah, exactly. This is like that. It's like we saw in the news, this was hyped up as like, this is going to blow the lid. This is going to be a huge thing. And then it's the same thing. Like it's that same clip of the Tic Tac that we've already seen, you know? And it's those same 3 declassified UFOs that we've already seen. We already know they exist.
Don't forget about that shot of the water that they play like 100 times.
Oh, the recreation shot? Yeah, I mean, Adam, what did you think? We watched it together.
We did. Well, they're not going to just blow their whole load in the first episode.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe this is jumping the gun here.
Going to keep us coming back for more and keep showing the same clips over and over.
Yeah, but that's my thing is like, that's probably going to be the whole season.
Yeah.
I don't see them releasing anything that we haven't seen. And I mean, I even read most of the articles and a few of my issues, like, they keep saying throughout the documentary that the government doesn't trust the public with this knowledge. But, you know, they declassified the footage. I mean, granted, it was years later, but it's like we're talking about with the Area 51 stuff. Like, if it's a national security thing, I mean, they're declassifying it, so there is some trust there with the public. Am I right?
But are they... Again, like we talked about in Area 51, are they controlling the exact details of what they're releasing? Or are they giving us everything and we're going to have to sit through hours and hours of paperwork or Tom DeLonge documentaries to find out the truth for ourselves? Like,
well, yeah, that probably is it because it's just those videos, apparently, right?
There's got to be more, though. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Or it's like there's like another thing. This guy, Luis Elizondo, you know that guy?
Hold on.
I mean, I don't personally know the guy, but I saw him in the documentary.
Yeah, this guy worked for Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, also known as ATIP. And apparently this guy's whole shtick was that he was frustrated with the lack of concern by Pentagon leadership, said they weren't treating these unidentified aerial phenomenon like the national security threat he believed them to be. He left for scientific and entertainment purposes. And also, why do all these guys in modern UFO docs look like they would play bass in Seether? Or like look like they'd be in the band Tool or something?
I kept saying that he looks like he's Guy Fieri's older brother.
Yeah, like this guy. I mean, what do we think of this guy?
I mean, obviously he has the credentials, so... He just seems like kind of a weirdo, but
why did we automatically assume that these things are all a threat? I mean, come on, Lewis. Come on, History Channel.
I don't know that he's saying that they're actual threat. I think he's just like a little bit upset with how the government, in his opinion, was treating them. Like they weren't taking it seriously. And he is obviously one of those people that is very serious about UFOs.
Well, I mean, if we're talking about the Tic Tac, the whole Tic Tac UFO off the coast of San Diego here was it like 2005 or something?
Tic Tac, 2004.
Yeah, Tic Tacs. Used to eat a whole box for dinner. The orange ones. Now, like the Tic Tac didn't do anything to the jets that were chasing it.
He didn't even see it.
Exactly. So. But the Tic Tac didn't do anything. So is that really a threat?
Might be.
I mean, maybe these aliens are just trying to fucking hang out.
Give us some Tic Tacs, maybe.
Now, honestly, if you read about the Tic Tac sighting, it's like it came like at a high altitude, like from basically the top of our atmosphere and then dropped to like a foot below the water. Tic Tac, what does it remind you of? Possibly a drone. I'm thinking maybe they sent a drone and they're doing some measurements, right?
Getting ready for the invasion.
Deep cover.
Or who even knows? This could be some fucking Chinese or Russian thing that we don't even know about, right? Like a little drone or something.
Could be.
But I guess it did defy the laws of physics. But then again, who even knows about physics?
Who follows laws?
Not the Russians, I'll tell you that.
But I mean, I'm just saying, like, these guys are so concerned that these things are such a threat, yet they've never harmed somebody, right?
Well, depending on your version of harm.
Well,
These specific Tic Tac ones, no, but we've done some alien.
Well, but those aren't the cases that they're talking about in this.
These particular ones, that's fair.
Yeah, these are all declassified, so we know for a fact the government's been, like, looking at these.
I think this guy's train of thought is just the government's not taking this seriously, but then at the same time, like, what are they supposed to do?
Exactly.
Shoot one out of the sky and then
Now,
go investigate
Start a
it?
war,
Yeah, I
isn't this
think-
how Independence Day started?
This guy's fucking hostile.
Shoot first, ask questions later?
Yeah, dude, this guy's coming off as hostile to me. I think, maybe the government did study it. They did look at it and they said, hey, not a threat. Like, let's leave them alone. Let's let these fucking aliens be or whatever this thing
Well, they probably
is.
don't know what the fuck to do.
Yeah, exactly. But another whole thing is like all this shit in the news it went hella viral. All the UFO shit, like all these articles, like UFOs exist. All the headlines are,
Tom's been telling us for years.
but all the headlines are that UFOs exist. No fucking shit. Anything could be a UFO if you really think about it. All that it means is that it's an unidentified flying object.
Yeah, if you didn't know it was a drone, that's a UFO.
Exactly. So no shit, they fucking exist. I mean, come on, History Channel. Come on, New York Times. What are we talking about? It's like almost ontological on some level. Like I think, therefore I am.
Okay.
Like UFOs, of course they exist. Doesn't automatically mean it's an extraterrestrial craft. Like we said, could be Russian, could be Chinese, could be some crazy shit we don't know about. Could be aliens, like this Tic Tac thing. But what do we think about the documentary as a whole? Are we still intrigued, still going to watch?
Well, yeah, I'm still going to watch because I didn't really get anything out of the first episode.
Got to set the groundwork, introduce
But
the
yeah,
cast.
I get it.
Okay. So maybe we revisit this once the last episode airs. But for now, I'm just writing this off as it's just, I mean.
Overhyped, underproduced?
Yeah, basically. I mean, this didn't show anything different than any other UFO documentary out there.
Or any footage that people haven't already seen before.
But it's treating it like it's some mind-blowing footage. And it's like, no, we've known that this...
Well, if you listened to Tom on that podcast with Joe Rogan, basically like the same kind of thing.
It's like I
hyping
know
it
all
up.
this shit, but I can't talk about it. Yeah, it's like, well, you're no better than the government then, right?
Well, I mean, now that kind of makes sense because he probably didn't want to like ruin
he
this
probably had an
documentary.
NDA with this documentary. So maybe Rogan has him back on, or maybe he comes on here.
If we can actually get through to him.
I mean, I've sent him a message. Maybe we'll go fucking press him at his shop.
Talk shop.
Yeah.
Road trip. There we go.
Another article they released was about the U.S. Navy drafting new guidelines for reporting UFOs. This is another one that went viral. I saw it all over Instagram. Everybody saying like, "Oh, what's your thoughts on this?" All this shit. Like, it's more or less like these articles are kind of headline clickbaity type shit. Because when you go into the weeds of this, like the Navy isn't outright endorsing the idea that these pilots have encountered alien spacecraft. They're just acknowledging that there's been enough UFO sightings or unidentified sightings by these pilots that they need to start recording it on official records. So really, this is like a reopening of Project Blue Book, right?
Could be.
Because, they opened this back in the 50s, 40s, and then they were like, Alan Hynek was like, hey, we can explain these, we can't explain these, and then they just kind of wrapped it, and that's where it went into like underground. But now this is just kind of coming out as more public stuff. It's basically they're reopening Project Blue Book and just saying, hey, we need to document these sightings. And apparently they're saying they need to be studied instead of just dismissed, because I guess a lot of the Navy pilots, like if they see, it's like don't ask, don't tell.
If you see something, say something.
But that's their policy before they redid it was just like, if you see something, you better keep your mouth shut. Or like, don't report it because it could end your career as a pilot. I mean, the Navy takes that shit very fucking seriously because you're in charge of this multi-million-dollar aircraft and you're talking about, I saw a fucking space alien.
Something that's better than what we're currently flying.
Oh, yeah. Or a UFO. They're going to fucking rip your wings off, dude.
Yep.
And you're going to be like, it's like, you are dangerous.
Ice.
Yeah, they're going to just fucking, they're going to ground you. That's what it's called. You're fucking grounded, dude. Never flying again in the fucking United States Navy. Now, but yeah, I mean, essentially this is like, it's nothing new, We've been talking about this for years. It's just, I guess, becoming more publicized, right?
Yeah, I mean, I want to believe that it'll eventually turn into something cool because I feel like they can't just replay the same shit for multiple episodes.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully they get to like some shit that we haven't seen. But essentially what I'm getting at is that this is just like we talked about in Area 51. Like when they declassified Area 51, what did we say? The government didn't outright come out and say, yes, Area 51 exists. We've been doing secret experiments. They just released a bunch of declassified documents and said, and in those documents, it said
that
we did this experiment at Area 51. So same thing with this. Like the U.S. Navy, the U.S. government, like they're not coming out and saying, yes, we've been studying UFOs and we believe they're aliens. We've been in contact with the aliens. They're just saying our pilots have seen a lot of shit in the sky and now we're going to start documenting it, right? More or less.
Yeah, that's a good summary, I would say.
But again, they're not outright saying, hey, we've seen aliens or stuff like that, which is all what kind of all these articles like lead you to believe, right?
Well, I think the whole point of this documentary series is these guys are like pressing for them to do that because obviously if the government comes out and is like, well, guys, we know about some aliens, everyone's going to freak the fuck out. And these guys are saying, hey, we know that this stuff is alien. You guys need to let everyone else know. Is kind of how I'm looking at it.
Yeah, but see, I don't know. Again, you guys think that there would be some huge public uproar if the Navy came out tomorrow and said, hey, we believe that this craft, the Tic Tac, is of an extraterrestrial origin. I don't think people would fucking freak out that much about it.
I mean,
yeah, it would be cool,
because
but
we kind of are already on that thought train. But some people would probably freak out.
I mean, people get offended about song lyrics now. They will get offended or find some way to cause an uproar about aliens. But I'm wondering kind of the opposite. Mm-hmm. What if the government was to come out and straight up say, look here, bitches, we've been fucking with aliens. And then all of a sudden, no more aliens come and hang out, and everyone's like, oh, the government's crying wolf.
So it's like, well, see, that's like going off of Jacques Vallée's theories. Some of his theories are that this is exactly what the government wants. Like it is like the government pushes the narratives of aliens to try to kind of like break down our belief system in order to make way for a new one. It's like some global type plan shit,
New
some
world
like
order.
yeah, maybe something along those lines, but some type of like long con of like, hey, like look at all this alien shit and they're putting this shit out there. So, I mean, maybe could be something off that theory, and that's why they're not going to ever outright come out and say it, you know?
Maybe this is them. Hey, there's aliens. And then in the tiny print, also, we're putting mind control in your milk.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe.
It's
Yeah,
actually a declassified document they release.
yeah. They have released documents on mind control. So, I mean, would aliens really be that bad? That's what I'm saying. Like the government releases all this crazy shit, and people are thinking that they'd freak out if there was aliens. The government has released documents saying that they purposely injected African American people with syphilis and just did experiments on them. Fucking genetics. There's a ton of declassified documents on the, or what is it called? Isn't that what it's called?
Genetics?
What is the fucking shit called? Eugenics. Eugenics. There's a ton of declassified documents on the government's involvement in eugenics in the fucking US, and people don't like if
Yeah,
any.
but I think the average American citizen doesn't know where they can find that information.
Operation Paperclip. We brought over Nazis and absolved them of their fucking war crimes.
Hey, we know that. But if you went out on the street, Jimmy Kimmel style, and asked people, hey, you know about Paperclip? Hey, do you know about eugenics? Hey, you know about these African American people being injected with syphilis in the 50s? That none of them would have an idea.
Yeah, so there you go. Why don't they just release the UFO stuff like that and nobody would give a fuck because people don't read declassified documents like
Until
that.
it affects them personally.
Like that's what Adam, I guess he's kind of getting at is he's saying they release some crazy bigger story and put this on like page 10 and then people don't give a fuck about it.
That's true. They might.
Do you guys have any other thoughts on the documentary? Just kind of wanted to get our thoughts out there about it. I know it's been buzzing and beaming in the fucking news and the interwebs and going viral, if you will.
I mean, in conclusion, I would just say that I was pretty excited to watch it. Tom hyped it up for me. I obviously am, checking his feed every once in a while, see what's going on with him. And I was a little bit let down by that first episode, but I'm going to keep watching because I have faith that something cool will come out of it.
Maybe we'll find out in 2020. NASA's talking, or 2024, right? NASA's talking about getting us to the moon.
Again,
yeah. So
now some people don't believe. So what is this like? Is NASA basically offended that people don't believe it? So they're like, all right, motherfuckers, we're going to do it again.
it's only taken us 40 years, 50
But
years.
I'm sure they'll just live feed like a video and people will still be like, nope, fake.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, people just, it's question everything. People the people that have some sort of like theory into like the faked moon landings, like they're going to just say anything can be faked, everything can be faked. And it's just like, the classic shtick, like they're only going to show you what they want you to believe, yada, 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 all that fucking type of shit.
All right.
But yeah, I mean, there you have it. That's our 2 cents. I mean, I'm sure we'll revisit it once the last episode airs, but let us know what you guys think. If you guys had any thoughts on the documentary or anything of that nature. And there you go.
Guys, as always, hit us up on those DMs, Podcast from Outer Space on Instagram, or hit us with the old-fashioned email, podcastfromouterspace@gmail.com. Website coming soon, podcastfromouterspace.com. Holla at your boys.
So long, and thanks for all the fish.
We take the path to Jupiter, and maybe very soon we cruise along the Milky Way and land upon the moon. To a wonderland of stardust, we'd zoom our way to Mars. My heart would be a fireball